The 4-hour build challenge is back. We put a bunch of ideas on the building wheel of destiny and take a spin to see what we're gonna build. We've built a lot of really cool things in past challenges and I can't wait to show you today's. Our building team is Stormhawk, Maka Makes, Immature Gamer, Shride, and this week we've invited Drizz to come and help us. Be sure to check out all of their videos. I've left links in the description below. There's lots of different builds going on here, so you're gonna wanna watch them. Okay guys, let's spin the wheel to see what happens. All right, here we go. What will it be? It's Clash of Clans!
Whoa!
No one would have guessed. Okay, so we may have fudged this just a little bit by making all of the spaces Clash of Clans. But I figured you guys wouldn't care. You'll pay for this, Mustard. I place a curse on you and all of your builder friends too. We should never have cheated the wheel. We ran into so many problems with this build. You'll just have to watch to see what we ran into. If you're not familiar with Clash of Clans, it's a really fun base builder game where you build a base and then defend it against attackers. I played it years ago and we all really wanted to build a base in Fortnite. And we were tired of waiting on the wheel to land on the Clash of Clans space. So that's why we kind of fudged it. But there's a lot of different pieces in a Clash of Clans base, so that's why we invited Drizz to help us. The first step was setting up our map board, which is a 40x40 square space. Now we did reduce the squares down to half the size so the board wasn't so massive. But this gave us a good base to build off of so we could keep the scale the same for all of our builds. This is the base that we decided to base our build off of. And as you can see, there's a ton of different buildings to build in this. What I decided to build was the wizard towers, the gold mine, and all of the walls. I started on the wizard tower and the first step was getting the right height of everything, and we decided that we didn't want anything to be over 2 squares tall. Then it was taking this one rock piece and repositioning it at different heights, and then sculpting the purple accents, placing them around the tower. It felt a little too wide to me, so I did adjust it so it's a little bit more narrow, but it turned out pretty good and only took a few minutes. At this point in the build, Maka Makes was working on an elixir harvester, Shride was working on a gold storage unit, Stormhawk was working on the main town hall, Drizz was working on a small cannon, Immature was working on the mechanics, and at this point we're about an hour into the build. The next thing I had to build was the gold harvesting unit, and this was a pretty challenging thing to build. There was just a lot of random things and weird angles to build, and it just took a while to get all of the details how I wanted it. And before I could finish the harvesting unit, we had our first problem with a storm glitch where it just ended our session early.
All right, I think we need a restart session.
Yeah, me too. The storm is about to eat your build.
We got back into a game. I just added a few details to my harvester, and we call it good. It's the scuffed harvester. Shride and Drizz had completed some of the awesome traps that would be found around the map. Maka Makes finished one of the barracks and dark elixir storage, and Stormhawk had made some great progress on the main town hall. And at this point, we're about 2 hours into our build. I only got a few minutes into placing where I wanted my walls to go when all of the sudden, whoa!
Are you kidding me?
What just happened?
Yeah, honestly, my PC crashed so bad there. I've never seen an error like that in my life.
So the curse of the wheel continued and Maka's computer completely crashed, and he was hosting the map, so we had to delay it for like another 4 hours before we could build again. We finally got back together and I started working on placing all of the walls out. I got about done with the walls when we had yet another storm glitch. That dang curse! When we got back in, I continued my walls and we started placing some of the items in the walls so that it started to look like a real base. We still had about an hour left in our build, but we had to call it a night because it was so late for those over in Europe. We finally got back together and just started filling in the base with all the buildings that we had already built. And this just took probably about half an hour to build it, and it got to the point where we felt like this was looking pretty good. The problem was when you got down to the ground level, you just couldn't see any of the map. The wall was blocking everything. So we decided to lower the walls a little bit, and that took about 10-20 minutes, and we had our base. The next step was making sure all of the mechanics were in place. And let me tell you guys, the mechanics on this are not simple. In fact, there was a whole mixture of problems in getting these mechanics to actually work. Really, the main issue was just trying to get all of us back together to get it done. And you're gonna need to go watch Immature Gamer's video on that to really get the full story of the pain it was to make sure this all worked. But we finally got it done, and now you guys can play it. So let me give you a rundown how this works. So first, you're split up into 2 teams. For every 1 defender, there are 2 people on offense. If you're defending, there's this really awesome map system that Immature made where you can warp to and from the main map and choose which defense tower you want to go to. If you're on offense, you get to choose what class you want, and then the goal of the offense is to blow up all of the defensive towers in the time allotted. It's a really unique game mode. It's really fun to play with a lot of people. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, while we did all of the aesthetics in under 4 hours, the mechanics took a long time, so go and play it. Big shout out to Maka Makes, Immature Gamer, Stormhawk, Shride, and Driz for making this awesome map together. It was definitely a pain, but guys, it was worth it. It turned out so good. So go and watch their videos, subscribe to them, subscribe to me, and have an awesome, awesome day.